Hey bitches, this is me, Levi from Masculine Intuition Readings, and it's been such a struggle to film. Honestly, like, I can pretty much only film during daytime, and the days are getting shorter, and my work is getting more and more intense by the day, and so this afternoon I was like, yay, I actually might have some time to film, because I really want to film this particular deck. And I just couldn't. I could not. Like before I knew it, it was like already pitch black out. And then we have the problem of overhead lighting, it being a little bit too cold upstairs to film there. It's so annoying. So now I have this like really weird mount on my table so I can show you all this deck. So this is Return of Spirit by Cheryl Harnish. And I'm still fucking pissed off because of the whole like being unable to film situation. Just let me film when it's daytime and I can just use my stupid stand that just, works, and I don't have to worry about angles and shit, because now, normally it's a top-down view, and, now I'm sort of using my front-facing camera and I have my phone at this weird angle, and I just really hope you guys can see it right. Because I kind of need to get back into the positive vibe, because the reason why I want to show this deck is because this is, I have usually around Christmas time in December, I do like I buy myself a lot of shit because, it's the shit I kind of wish people would buy me, but they don't. And I show off and I have fun, and I did a whole like Doreen virtue thing one time, and this year I kind of have, I mean, I've still been buying decks left, right, and center, but I've kind of been, just happy with my own collection. And, I've kind of been coming back to some old favorites. And, this is probably, as much as the world permits me to film, this is probably going to be like a 5, 6, 7, maybe 10, whatever, but this is going to be a couple part series, and I'm going to put them all in a playlist later. But this one comes first because this is one of the first decks I bought. I remember, so before we are even going to go into the whole flip through whatever bullshit, I just want to tell a little story. So, I got a Lucy Cavendish Oracle deck. And then I got, these are all, we're talking about the Dutch versions here. I got another one, and I was like, ooh, so cool. And, this is when I sort of started discovering that there were multiple decks out. And I, as you all know, I kind of started more with, I started with tarot, but, it made me so insecure that I, at one point kind of got into Oracle decks, and that gave me the confidence to actually, learn tarot. And, I got the Jasmine Beckett Griffith, Lucy Cavendish decks that were out in Dutch, and then I discovered Amazon, and I discovered that you could also get them in English. I thought that they were all standard Dutch publications, didn't even know that, I thought it was kind of odd that there would be a woman in the Netherlands named Lucy Cavendish, but I didn't give it any thought, so I thought the market was very limited. And Amazon opened up this whole world to me, Book Depository, God rest their soul, and I sort of started discovering decks and metaphysical stores and other outlets where you could get these decks. And I remember this being such a wonderful and lovely time. when everything, and that's kind of, I don't want to sound like a bitter old queen, but back in the day when everything sounded and felt more mystical. But it did. Everything felt a little bit more mystical and a bit more mysterious, and there was so much to learn. And as I've sort of been, rekindling the flame with like some decks in my collection and kind of figuring out which ones are actually special to me. Um, this is definitely one where I was like, I don't know, just not just this one, but with other ones as well, where I do feel like I'm not going to say a lot, but what we're seeing, what we've always seen, but what we're seeing, especially right now in the market, is a lot of pretty RWS clones within the indie and mass market scene. And Oracle deck wise, it's pretty much, Oracle deck wise, we're kind of like dead, like nothing really interesting and new is coming out. And this is a weird deck, y'all. Return of Spirit is Cheryl Harnish's third deck. She has another couple decks, which are, hold up, what's the name of her other decks? A Path of the Soul and Divine Guidance. Well, I have Divine Guidance. Um, I don't have Path of the Soul, but I do kind of want them, but they're different. They come with all of the decks come with a fairly basic little white book that has, 2 pages per card and a little black and white illustration. And it has some pretty cool spreads, but it's very, very old school. And this is from, I don't even know if this is that old. This is from 2013. At least this printing is. Let me check the booklet because this is an indie deck, believe it or not. Yeah, this is 2013. So this is not even that old, but her first deck was like from 2007. So, she's been around and she's kind of gone. I feel like she's kind of stepped out of the whole new age realm. And why do I like this deck so much? It's super weird, zany. It's fractal art. It's absolutely stunning. Can you guys see it like this, like at all? I really do hope so because, well, you'll have to make do with what I've got because I just can't film any other way. But this is an Oracle deck with fractal art so it's not very pictorial. The art is a vibe. It's kind of like 1990s stoner art. Fractal art is created by entering, mathematical equations into a machine, and art comes out that you can then manipulate within the program. I've tried it. I'm not good at it. Cheryl is. Is it art or not really? It's something. But it's very recognizable, as you can tell, and it's kind of got that 90s vibe. And most of the cards, except for the last like 2 I showed you, are perfectly usable actually, because they have really great yet sometimes zany keywords on there. But for some reason, they really, really, really work for me. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. But these keywords, I kid you not, whenever I use this deck for myself, for others, I just get the most amazing readings. And, I've always been one that has been very much an advocate of the magic is in you, not in the tool. Because I see a lot of people, I love this one, by the way. Look at all the details on there. I see a lot of people placing too much trust in gurus, creators, fangirling too hard over, this creator said this, or that creator did that, or this metaphysical author wrote this. I'm very much a believer of the magic is in you, but this deck, with its weird keywords, should not work because some of the shit is really random. But oh man, another gorgeous one. Look at that. but I have been so sucked. I get so sucked into this that I just really am able to perform. I give really amazing readings with this, or such as this, right? Feline. That's such a strange word to put on a card, but for some reason it just evokes, a sense of boldness, adventure, but also almost predator, prey-like relationships, sensuality. Like it evokes so much within me, and I really like that. And once again, that stoner 90s stoner style art, which is, like, if whatever you would enter a smart shop, you would see art like this on posters, with the 3D dolphins superimposed over them, and it was a whole thing. This is one of my favorite cards, the fairy magic card. Once again, that's a really zany keyword to have as a keyword on a card, but even if you don't really resonate with these keywords, because fairy magic to me very much evokes a sense of whimsy and play, but also it's also an energy that you need to be kind of careful with, because fairies are a little bit like are tricksters, and I feel like a lot of new age people kind of present them as very as love and light, but they're not. They fairy shit is dark. um so it just clicks. It just clicks, and it's so vibrant. The art is so vibrant, it just burns through my retina into my brain. And some for some reason, on a subconscious level, does so much to me. It literally almost makes me emotional to look at these images. um, how did I come by this deck? I have my whole metaphysical career. I owe my whole metaphysical career to Malou, who, funnily enough, helped yesterday. She makes great jewelry, and she asked me if I wanted to help her during a Christmas fair. And I said, bitch, of course, I'm gonna sell all that jewelry for you. And I did. It was fabulous. Malou and I've told his story many times, so if you've already heard this, feel free to fast forward till whenever, because I'm not going to put any timestamps or make an effort like other people do. I'm not going to do that. Malou and I actually went into a metaphysical store once, and we were kind of like, kikiing, laughing, really, aura spray? Oh, look at all this incense. This one's called Sweet Pussy, like, and we were just having fun. We both loved the crystals. And then we got to the deck section, and I was literally like, wow. Last time I actually been into a store like that was with a back then boyfriend. And that's when they would, like, used to only just have the angel cards, the Doreen Virtue decks, which kind of made me roll my eyes back then. But now they had all these other cool decks as well. And Malou was like, did you know that I have lots of decks at home and that I'm actually secretly really into this? And I was like, bitch, no, I'm gonna get a deck. I got the Lucy Cavendish deck. But a couple of days later, when I met up with her again, or a couple of weeks later, because we meet up a lot, because we're really close, she showed me the Divine Guidance deck by Cheryl Harnish that she had. And I was like, ooh, this looks like a deck that I saw online. And this was the card that I had seen. And I had only seen the card. This was before, tarot Instagram, or before people would like put the name of the deck underneath their post. I found it on Eclectic Tarot, an old forum that was already closed down, in a really old thread about oracle cards. I saw a picture of this card with no mention what deck it was from. And this image had been haunting my brain for weeks. And there was a full deck full of this art, but the only thing that was different, which is why I like this deck better, this deck has keywords, and her other decks don't. which I am sort of, you're supposed to sort of use them intuitively, but then there's also this whole guidebook with paragraphs, for each card. So it's still difficult for me to work with or other decks, but these keywords give me a little bit of a boost to let my intuition flow freely, and it does. So that's maybe I'm blabbing on too much, but that's kind of how this deck came into my life. I found that there were two metaphysical stores close to my house. One of them did have the other two decks by Cheryl Harnish, but not this one. The second one had this deck, and they were both in Dutch. Then I managed to get a hold of this one in English, and I just, have been using this ever since. And for some reason, I never get tired of this deck. Never. I never get tired of it. Like, I can play with this all day, all night. I love this card so much. Look at that, though. The warmth emanating from that. Ugh. This deck I never get tired of, and it's an indie deck, so it's self-published, but this was published in 2013, just about a year after Kim Kranz released her Wild Unknown, and showed the world what an indie deck could look, smell, taste, feel like. So this was all very much probably her going to a printer and saying, hey, how do Hay House print their decks? I want that. I don't know what Cheryl sounds like. I have seen the odd pick a card video by her on YouTube. But she strikes me as sort of a, I don't know, New Jersey kind of girl. I don't know. Pick a card. But yeah, I just really, really, really love. So it's nothing special. It's kind of weird. It's kind of old school. It doesn't look pretty in the sense of the latest Tree Keeper's Oracle, but I don't know. It reads so well for me, and I get the most profound messages whenever I use this deck. Now, since this is indie, this is pretty difficult to come by. You can still buy it off Amazon, but if you're not in United States territories and you want to get it in English, it's really expensive. If you really want this deck, the cheapest way to get it is to literally go to Amazon.com and order it in from the US, which I'm thinking about doing for her other, because I do have Divine Guidance Oracle cards by her in Dutch, but I don't have Path of the Soul at all, and I kind of want the whole trilogy. So I'm thinking about ordering the ones that I'm missing from Amazon.com, and I'm just going to decide to eat the shipping, because, and I might even order an extra copy of this. Because what, this is gonna become an out of print deck at one point. Cheryl has been completely missing from the scene. Once these are gone, they're not gonna return. So I feel like I need some extra. We're getting a really interesting message right now, and this message is all about love, and I really feel like this is about universal love. We need to be a little bit more loving towards each other in the world right now, and we need to act from integrity. I feel like, and this is interesting because I'm gonna channel a major message for the collective right now, because I'm literally feeling that in my body. I feel like we are propagating a lot of things and putting a lot of things out into the universe that we feel like we have to. I feel like we're being very politically correct about things, or it's everything is so polarized, everything is so black and white. And I like to show integrity by asking questions and by sometimes accepting that other people are gonna do things differently from me. And if I feel like if you handle yourself and others with love and integrity, obviously, we're all gonna experience sort of a resurgence of energy. We're gonna experience The cards say it right here. We're going to experience some form of rejuvenation, which is necessary. You know, I was actually talking about Martin yesterday. This is so funny that this card shows up right now. I'm honestly not checking them beforehand. But Martin and I were kind of talking about how all these stupid new age gurus keep blabbing on about about how we're going to move into the fifth dimension. And we've been moving into the fifth dimension for years, but it just never really seems to happen. And it's not going to happen if we keep these polarizing patterns in place. And I really feel like if we break the chain and let bygones be bygones, and if we let each other live our lives to the fullest, uh, you know, um, stop making assumptions, stop trying to force thought patterns, but fully living from our integrity, we're gonna get that return of spirit. And also that's gonna awaken this, we're getting this weird feline card. It's gonna awaken this rewilding, this, we're gonna be rewilded. People are gonna be, because that's what really needs to happen. We've been, so, the world has been so conditioned. We all have been so conditioned. And what we really need to do is, in order to get back to integrity and love, is try to strip away all those layers and go back to the way we always were and the way we were intended to be. Which sounds kind of weird, but it's very much, here we go, another favorite. It's very, very much that inner child, it's inner child work, but I feel like it's different. And I'm gonna sound like a judgmental bitch, but inner child work isn't working with tarot cards that have kitty illustrations on them. That's not what that is. Inner child work is literally going back to your childlike self and also recognizing the qualities that were in your childlike self, and not very often we're talking about and to then leave it behind or integrate it and move on. No, we need to fucking go back to the way we were as children, because we were so much more integer and loving. We had so much more integrity and we were so much more loving. The times were so much simpler back then, not just because of economical reasons, not just because of wars and stupid people, and but because of us and the way we were in the world. To round it off, be fearless. Do you first before you do anyone else. Check yourself first before you check anyone else. We're seeing a lot of broken ass people everywhere, constantly checking everybody, and clocking it how it is everywhere, and doing your shit. If that's what you really want to do, you do you. But there's a lot of bitterness going on. There's a lot of wild self-hatred going on. Do yourself first. If you RuPaul said it best when she said, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love or help somebody else? Get in touch with you. Get in touch with you, who you really are. You need some more whimsy in your life. You need some more wildness in your life. And I don't mean, by wild, we don't mean do drugs and, party. When, I drink wine on every day that ends with a Y. We're not talking about that. We're talking about wild as in going back to your most uncultured self and looking them in the eye and saying, yes, I am ready for the next step, and I am ready for rejuvenation, and I am ready for integrity, and I am ready for love. And that's how I read with this deck. I just slam cards till I feel like I'm done. And that's why this is... even though it's not pretty and it's not like super cool and it doesn't have illustrations by Stephanie Law or Kim Kranz or whatever illustrator is hot right now or writer is hot right now, who cares? But this is, for some reason, for me, a tool that works amazingly well. Uh, and like I said, even if these keywords are too vague for you, you can just pull a card and get a wonderful reading from the guidebook. Jaw-dropping readings even. Sometimes when I'm not in the mood, I just pick a card and really read what's in this book. She's called The Truth Fairy, Cheryl Harnish. You won't find any fluff and bubbles here, she states. The only way to really help people through their lives is to start addressing the real issues of being human. It's time to do away with false pretenses that have been created around being spiritual. I love that. Anyways, this was me. I hope y'all enjoyed it. That reading was a little bit spicy, but hey, you know, I said what I said. Good night, and I hope you understand why this deck is fucking amazing.